Hey, good Monday morning, everyone. So we're doing a little bit differently this week. We're going to try an early morning stream, and following next week, we're going to try a later one and see how everybody's time kind of works with this. So just start off with good morning, and today we're going to look at Most Haunted, which was a kind of British version of Ghost Adventures, but before Ghost Adventures existed. So, there's been a lot of controversy around Derek Acorah as well as Eve. I can't remember her name, but and how a lot of the people that were involved said that this was legitimate and that it was not entertainment, and then it came out that, they were all basically faking it at the end, and which doesn't matter because, there's an entertainment kind of aspect to it. So anyways, this one is the Ghostly Confrontation at Muckleborough Collection. So I don't remember this one specifically, but we're going to kind of just watch it and react to it live. So let's get into it.
Nudge my shoulder.
This is a really freaky place.
Dark shadows, ghostly footsteps, and haunted artifacts await the crew at the Muckleborough Museum.
When the music still hits.
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. This week we brought you to the beautiful Norfolk coastline where there are guns and tanks. These pieces of machinery have helped to save many people in battle, and supposedly they have ghosts all of their own. This is the Muckleborough Collection.
Oh, okay. I do think I remember this one.
The Muckleborough Collection is situated in Weybourne, Norfolk.
Oh, Harrier.
Weybourne has always been a military village. It has been a base for large numbers of troops during the wars of 1588, 1914 and 1938.
You can't hear her, really?
The collection was started by Berry Savory and his son Michael. Together they have allowed thousands of people to remember the brave soldiers who fought so gallantly for our country. The museum has become famous not just for its memorabilia, but also for its ghost sightings.
It's like showing almost maxed out. Wow, okay.
The area around here is full of natural harbours, and because of that, it's always been a defended position, because these harbours, of course, bring invaders. The Romans, the Saxons, and they believe that also Vikings landed here on this very spot. So there's always been soldiers, camps around here.
Dark shadows have been experienced in this room, along with the feeling of being watched, which has been reported by staff members. These occurrences happen both in the day and at night.
The shadows are more prolific in the winter because there is nobody around, and although people say it could be the wind, it isn't. You can feel the rush of something by you, or a sudden cold spot. You can feel it.
With there being a military camp here, of course, there's been a phenomenon.
It might be a little low now, but give me a second.
And death. 6 ATS women were killed here when an anti-aircraft gun blew up. Nobody really knows whether, of course, they found all of them.
There was quite a sinister tale attached to this camp. We've got to be rather careful about this. We know the names of the people involved, but we don't want to offend any living relatives. But according to newspaper cuttings that we found in the archive, should I say there was a suspicious death here, and it involved a Royal Artillery sergeant. A case where there was a suspicious death of his wife. He returned to his home on some leave. There was a large trunk. It was opened, and her body was found inside the trunk.
Ooh. A body in a
This
trunk.
desk and chair was Berry Savoury's, and the present employees refuse to sit here because it's always icy cold and has an eerie feeling. And the resident dog, Holly, won't come anywhere near it. Another strange
I'd actually
thing
really
that's
like to go to
happened
that
in this
museum.
office is that
It
Berry
looks really
Savoury
cool.
used to have a beautiful picture up here on the wall. It was his favourite. Now, the current manager then took down that photograph and replaced it with a new one. As soon as the new one went up, it crashed down with no logical explanation.
Barry loved this place with a passion. He spent almost 24 hours here every day, every single day of his last few years, and he loved it. And I know that he is still here, definitely.
He flew with no less than Douglas Bader. This is Squadron Leader Berry Savoury's hat. There's his scrapbooks, there's everything to do with him here. And people believe...
Geometry guy, hey, how are you doing?
Because he loved this place so much, this place that he set up, that he still visits. He still comes back to this place to oversee what's going on.
All of these now retired vehicles have all seen action, but in the dead of night, strange noises can be heard coming from within. Voices of soldiers have been heard coming from inside this tank, and cries of anguish have been heard coming from here.
People have claimed they've heard moans and groans from the rear of the ambulance, for example. The tanks, various tanks have been heard to be cooling down.
Kind of
People
went
will
over
say,
to
have you had
like
this one
a
out today? Is it going to be out again? And maybe it hasn't been
debunking
moved for a
video.
month.
The
Debunking
biggest thing of all,
videos,
in
basically.
my opinion, is the fact
Especially
that this
ghosts.
place is
That's what I've been doing
absolutely
for years. So.
chock-a-block with fighting vehicles. People
I've already got
have
more
spent
YouTube subscribers in
many, many hours in combat.
7
inside
days than I
these
have in
vehicles.
5
The
years playing
emotion
games. So.
that must be, I think, recorded into those vehicles. They hold the memories from those soldiers.
So this is, I don't know if you've ever watched these shows before, Geometry. So this is like a British show called Most Haunted, and it was huge for me and my family. Like, we used to watch, well, not my kids, but me and my wife, we used to watch these all the time. So this was part of our our relationship, I guess you could say. That's not a Harrier.
Having
It's a
spent
Harrier,
time
isn't
getting
it?
to know the layout
Looks
of
like
the
a Harrier.
museum and also listening to various eyewitness accounts of ghost sightings, Phil
That's right,
Wyman,
he's
our
supposed to be
paranormal
the skeptic,
investigator,
I
felt
think.
sure we were in for an interesting night.
Do you think tanks
No,
and
no, he
planes
wasn't.
can
There was
actually
another
hold
guy
on
that
to the
was the
memories and
skeptic.
almost replay them?
Well, if you go along with the idea of the stone tape theory, which basically means any object can absorb energies from a past era, for instance, and then replay them under certain circumstances, then I think that's quite possible, yes.
Do you think it's a bit strange that the resident dog Holly won't go near Berry Savoury's desk, or in fact any of the residents here don't like it?
I think it's strange, but it's not too uncommon, actually, with animals. If they associate perhaps paranormal activity with a certain area, they tend to stay out of that area.
What about the picture as well that apparently fell off the wall? That's quite interesting.
Well, as far as pictures coming off the wall are concerned, personally for me, it doesn't really represent any kind of paranormal activity. They fall off walls all the time. Nails come out the wall, for instance. Having said that, this picture was on a picture hook, which means that it would have to have been lifted up, pulled off the wall and placed on the floor.
Or the picture hook
it's a
fell
bit of a
out of
strange
the wall.
one.
I mean, you know, let's
Museums are
He started
interesting
down a
at the
good
best
line of logic,
times,
but then,
but once
fell on
daylight
his
is
face.
gone and visitors have left, the whole building takes on a different feel. With our locked-off cameras in position and our trigger object set, the crew were ready to start
there's
the
marbles and, like,
investigation.
cocaine?
We needed one last person to join us.
Oh my
We
God,
called
is
on
it
the
like
help
some sort of,
psychic
like-
Derek Acorah.
like Colombian cartel
directly
ghost or
in front of
something.
us. It's like there's
Oh,
a
Derek.
yearning, both a psychic and spiritual yearning, to go to this area of this tank. I seem to get a lot of spiritual activity taking place around this tank. Now, when this activity is taking place, it can only be produced by a spirit person, not residual energy. The place here is stacked in a lot of residual energy, different layers. But here, I feel as if there's a great deal of, with this particular tank, and seems to be centered here, it seems to be going from that area over to here. So, in this area alone, I feel if someone was actually walking or tending something, walked into this hangar, they would probably be met by noises, without a doubt, because this individual man would make the noise. I know it most definitely is an American soul. He's not English. And most definitely, he would be very strongly linked here.
Is he a benign spirit, or is there any sort of nastiness about him?
No, there's nothing nasty about this person. However, this passageway here, which is most interesting, okay, let's assume psychically that he, apart from doing what he does in this hangar, and we go out to that passageway. What I want to say about the, thank you, Sam, passageway, it seems as if I get this...
I forgot about Sam was his spirit guide.
And it's purposely done this way. And Sam's, you know, given it to me. It's like a, not a hissing, but like a sound. And up and down this passageway at times. And through different parts of the actual building.
And that's done deliberately?
That's done deliberately, separate from this good man. Separate altogether. I do know as we go through,
and it's been proven that he
and I have got a very
looks up information before he goes to these places. So
that the person that's doing this like sounding, okay, this not nice sound, which would probably have people running if they heard it, physical people, has something to do with he's taken a person's life, he's taken a woman's life, and he's not moved on to the higher side of life. The lady who he murdered took her life. She's moved on. She's gone into the heavenly light and what have you, quite a long time back. But he is not.
Did that occur here on this building, this location?
I feel it's in this area, yeah. I'll find out a little bit more, I believe, as I'm going through. But he is one. He's one of the spirit people that roams this whole area, in and out. It's in and out. But for some reason, as we go on, thank you, Sam. Can we move? Yeah. Because this is important. Maybe there's a link here.
Oh, that's right. I just remembered the notes I had written down.
This passageway because, again, I'm being pulled in the nicest of ways, not a bad way.
God, it's such a British museum.
Now, right here, at this point, I firmly believe that around this area we have got a vortex, an inlet and an outlet for spirit entry and exit. And it's here. And at times I believe, well, it should have, because I'm actually in the middle of it now, is that people who walk this passageway, meaning, you know, people who may work here and what have you, they could be walking along here so innocently and suddenly get this like cold shrill. And maybe, again, we got audible stuff. Oh, and at the end here, also, I would say shadows. Shadows would be seen. Because this individual
that's the good thing about Derek, is that he's a good storyteller.
Cannot formulate totally the spirit body to be seen in feature, but would be, you know, shadowy.
Is this the same person who is not the very nice person who committed a murder?
It could be. I'll have to, as we go along, we'll find out. But there's a strong probability it is him that's doing it because of his feeling of torment anyway, and not being able to move on. His only way, I suppose, to gain any, I don't know if that's the right word, satisfaction, is to do these things. It's rather, I suppose, pathetic. But, oh God.
Did he just call the ghost pathetic?
I'm seeing a covering up of this lady. It seems as if she's been, like, placed in, like, a box coffin type thing. You know, and he's got her there. And, see, that's his torment showing that mental picture to me.
Is there any way you can give us a description of the man who did this?
I hope so.
You're on the right track, Derek.
Are we? Maybe they'll give me a little bit more. It's like gone quiet.
On trial for the murder of his wife, he was found not guilty.
Oh, I've got
he's found not guilty.
So now, who was wanting me to draw a link here?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, they were saying like she was found in like a suitcase or something like
come
that.
On, then. Thank you very much. Bless you.
Barry Savory's office is located at the end of the corridor. Would Derek pick up on his presence? Would he be able to name him? And would any members of the crew be party to paranormal activity at Muckleborough?
Oh, I missed this.
For setting up the museum. According to friends and relatives, he was extremely dedicated to Muckleburgh, and some people believe his ghost walks the museum.
What I'm picking up is that his essence of his energies are here. That's residual. Speed. He's here. He's come here.
Can you see him?
Yes.
You can see him.
This man, he's here in his essence. Didn't you hear him rap? No. Just there.
No.
This belongs to you, sir. Your brave heart. A very deep-thinking man.
Who is he?
I don't know yet. I don't know. So,
Is he still here?
yeah, his energy's here by the seat.
What, sitting in it?
Yes.
Move this
He
down.
invites his good... Thank you, Sam. He invites his good friend here a lot. He's active here, but he comes in the vortex. He's truly in the world of spirit, but he comes in. But he also brings a friend. Say that again, Sam.
He brings a friend.
He brings Douglas here. Douglas Bader? Bader. His good friend, who's also a pilot. Okay, thank you. Yes. Douglas comes here. This? Has he written in here? In this big book? Okay. Sam tells me in this big book here, there are writings and reports and beautiful photographs and things in this big thing here.
This is his own private
Yes.
photographs.
Yes.
Who's that?
Oh, God. Just keep on. Could you, please? This is his
Yeah.
conditions, and this is the good man's beautiful hat, his cap. Okay. He's not here right now. Otherwise, he's shown himself, he sat down, his energy was there, then dispersed. Now, this man comes here and he's annoyed. He has been mistakenly talked about as being the shadowy figure that walks around here from this office up this passageway. That is not him.
It's not him.
It's not him.
Right.
The shadowy figure is the person, the man who took the lady's life. And he's annoyed that that person, they see each other.
Is Sam not giving you a name yet for...
Oh, yeah, I keep on asking. I'm sure we'll get it somewhere. You know, he'll give it to me. Sorry.
Okay.
What was that noise?
There's 2 groups of 3 ladies.
Do you think the hardest thing for these guys
They
was
come
to take him
here
seriously and not just
and
laugh all the
visit them,
time?
Bless them. 6 very young, beautiful ladies.
Well, it's also not live, so I guess they could edit all that out when they laughed at him.
Country. Isabel, Jean, Alison, Mary.
6 these girls were killed instantly as a
Geraldine.
shell from their gun
Christine.
exploded unexpectedly.
Who are you?
Interesting. What is an ATS?
Squadron leader? No. He's my good
I
friend.
gotta look that up. I wonder what an ATS is. Oh, I can't. Yeah, I'll look it up on my phone. Auxiliary Territorial Service. Oh, gotcha. All right, so these are the people that would be like on the island, kind of defending it
tell us your name?
from any attack that would come in. So they wouldn't be going out to war. So they were probably doing like a practice firing, and one of the shells exploded in the tank. That's horrible. Or one of the big guns.
My dear. My dear.
Brace yourselves, be coming.
My dear.
Derek.
My dear.
Derek.
He's in front of the cocaine.
Derek, he's calm.
Was Derek really possessed by the spirit of Berry Savoury?
Nope.
Or was it all in his mind? After a short break, we turned
Was it
all
all
the
in his
lights off and
mind?
continued our investigation using our night vision cameras. One of the places that was renowned for paranormal activity was a World War II ambulance. Many people had witnessed the sounds of a man's voice screaming in agony.
Now, as we're coming into it, the residual energies, there is screams and crying out. And, you know, it's like, oh, it's so, you know, the feeling of hate and maybe souls that were carried in this vehicle, and they are still being replayed to this present day. And I feel that there is one particular soul that must have lost his actual life, actually, whilst he was in this vehicle. His name's Robert. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was made aware, the name come to me 3 or 4 times. Now, I know for a fact, or I say I know for a fact, I feel that the name Robert spends a lot of time around this vehicle. It's like as if he's coming back in memory. And, you know, his last thoughts and what have you. And I feel he was screaming. He was screaming out. It was like, please don't let me die. Save me. Please don't let me die. And his blood and what have you was just coming from. They couldn't prevent it. And I feel he is an active individual spirit. He's coming back and replaying it, and that's a fact. He's not doing himself a good service.
I was going to say, why would he do that?
Well, you know, this man flays himself because he was responsible for a unit of men or a group of men, whatever it's termed, and he still feels to this present day he let them down at the last moment. He was mortally wounded, fatally wounded, and what have you, and that's been replaying even when he came out of his physical body, before his body was taken from this vehicle. I can feel his emanations around my shoulders now. Who? Now, it sounded like, to me, it's either Nixon or Dixon. Right. Robert Nixon or Dixon.
Right.
So it's ex-president of the United States or someone else? Probably Nixon.
Neil, come in, please.
Reading you loud and clear, carry on.
Neil, Derek's picked up a chap called Robert, and he's just come up with the name either Nixon or Dixon. And it's actually to do with the back of this ambulance here, where screams have been heard. I don't know whether you know of a name like that, do you? Robert Nixon or Dixon? Over.
Nothing immediately comes to mind, but again, we can always check it on the records later. Over.
Okay, Neil, out to you.
I hope he gets it explained to him that the group of men that he was involved with and over, the vast majority of them did not lose their lives like him. I feel some of them come out of the war-torn conditions and lived on. So, you know, I believe Sam will explain this to him, which will take that easement, and hopefully he will then go on truly and stay.
And kind of the problem with location like this is that there's so many pictures, names, and other objects that are around that, like, even if you weren't a medium or whatever, you could pick up on these things. The power of suggestion here is probably really outstanding, that you could walk into a place like that and go like, oh yeah, I see this person's name, and your kind of mammalian brain is picking up all this stuff. So even outside of being a medium, just having so much influence around you would probably be massive.
Where he is, and progress that way, and this will stop here.
Right.
The residual energy will stay silent. Okay.
Do you want to move on somewhere else?
Yes, love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we moved from the ambulance, we had word that the rest of the crew were experiencing strange noises in the kit room.
The electrical works just suddenly came straight on, all at the same time. And out of the back, immediately preceding that, we heard a very firm rattling, and it sounded like some sort of gate or bolted doorway rattling on the door.
Okay. Did everybody else hear it?
Yeah.
Really?
Where was that coming from?
It's like rattling of a...
What's the matter with Holly?
Why have they got a dog there?
I don't think it's upset Holly. She doesn't usually bark, and as soon as she heard it, she started to bark. So something's definitely rattled her as well.
You coming over with me? Come on. I need Holly. What's a Holly? What do you feel, babes? What do you feel? Come on then. Come on, Oz. Come on, baby. Come on. It's all right. Come on, Ollie, babes. Okay. She just let herself right in, that's all. It's okay.
If the dogs come into this area, then I don't think there's anything going to be this area, basically.
Yeah, but like that dog could be looking for rodents or anything that's in that area
all day, and listened to her and watched her in their own way, tail going all the time. Now, wasn't that so distinctive and so like not like her?
Is that the first time she's actually barked while we've been here?
Yes,
It's the first time
I can remember.
Yeah. And often, you know, the dogs, especially the bitch dogs like her, she'll pick up when stuff is happening.
Derek had picked up on the 6 women who had all died tragically during battle. This had taken place by the pillbox. This small structure has now become famous for its paranormal sightings. Many people have witnessed small bright lights hovering around the pillbox. People believe these lights are the spirits of the 6 young women, and this was a place that we wanted Derek to visit.
Can you get in there?
Actually, I think he talked to the dog better than he talks to the host.
Can I just tell you what's actually happening now? Is I'm getting the emanations. And when we talk about, on camera, we caught the orbs and what have you. At times, to the naked eye, people may, emanating from here, shooting out. I talk about the spirit life lights. And it's like as if I'm getting lights going. You know, I'm not staying to conformity, going at different angles and shooting up and going across. And this is brought about by these lovely ladies who lost their lives.
I think he's talking about the ATS people again,
spark,
the auxiliary
souls,
women that lost their lives.
Coming in a group, gathering together and then going away. And I feel that this could be, I don't know if it's a common occurrence, but I feel as if they've drawn attention to themselves and all people can see is these spirit lights.
Gosh.
And they still come here now. And it's around this area.
Well, that's actually quite true, isn't it?
That's spot on, yeah. People have seen lights around this area.
Well, I wouldn't be at all surprised, and maybe they've wondered what it is. And it's the 6 ladies. The ladies who come over at exactly the same time to the split second, boof! And, you know, they're looking at each other, and it may be such a shock to them that they've, you know, they're out of the physical body, the body's blown to bits, I feel, you know, the physical body. And they're looking at it, and I feel they do come back in this collective memory. They are not grounded here. They are truly in the world of spirit.
But they come in visitation.
But they come in visitation. And the way the naked eye is seeing it is not seeing the full spirit body, but the life light.
Right.
And it emits from here.
Why would anybody want to sort of come back in visitation after that kind of, you know, after the way they left their physical bodies like that?
They'll want to come back. They want to view and see as it is now. And also, they've got the capability and the abilities to, when their lights are seen, they can see it as it was then. Okay. So I firmly believe, I think this is what the feeling is, what I'm picking up from the energies here, is that they knew after leaving the physical body.
So he didn't actually answer the question. Man, you know what? He'd make a good politician.
Right. You know, the wartime conditions. Yeah. So to them, they knew that England...
Why would they want to come back? Well, they can see it the way that it used to be. Like, what? That doesn't answer the question.
And they're coming back, I suppose, in a very proud way of looking and saying, it's free. Yeah. That's what these people were thinking. They wanted freedom. Because, you know, without them, we wouldn't be standing here and living this life, would we?
Yeah. Let's head on back, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Once back inside the museum, it was time to split into groups. Would we come across the spirits of Berry Savory, Robert Nixon, or the murderer that is supposed to walk the Muckleborough Museum?
So we're 34 minutes into our stream, and we haven't started the investigation yet. So not an hour-long show, and you get 50 minutes of
building more effectively.
Conversation.
Our director, Phil and Rick went inside the tank that is supposed to be haunted. Richard, Derek, Craig, Tom and myself went into Berry Savory's office, where the staff have often reported paranormal activity.
Sounds fun, though, going in the tank and just doing an investigation inside of a tank.
It's not to disappoint, but there's no evidence psychically or even spiritually that this good gentleman is actually in the atmosphere right now while we're in the room, because that would just be thrown out at me. So if we'd maybe just stay quiet.
I'm going to sit in the chair where Derek sat earlier on. Not picking up any light anomalies. Oh, she said. Could be dust.
It is dust.
Did you feel right?
Feel all right, actually.
I think trouble is...
I forget that these guys are like huge on the light anomalies and dust and bugs and stuff like that are always ghosts, that they way overreact to it. I totally forgot about that.
It's scary on your own, but when there's a few of you, that I think you become more inquisitive and scary. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys, but it's the first time I've ever been inside a tank. It's a bit claustrophobic, which I don't like, I must admit.
It is very claustrophobic.
But now we've managed to open the top hatch so we can get out fairly easy. It smells of diesel or whatever.
This man's energy must be, again, trying to link, because I've just come from here and my fascination was to be taken to here. And there's, I don't know, it's like a nail or something here. And what was here?
Wow.
There's a picture here.
He saw a hook
And
for a
through
picture,
anger,
and he imagined that there's a picture there.
his energies pulled it down.
What if we were to actually put a picture up there?
I feel maybe he may do something, yeah.
See, there is a picture down here on the floor.
Let's see what it says.
What does it say? God bless this mess.
Okay.
Love, live life.
Okay.
Love, live.
Should we spend a few more minutes in
Wrath?
here? Sort of get
What
out
is it?
and wander around
What's the thing?
place? If there is anybody here,
Oh, God.
please make yourself known to us in the tank. What'd you say we sort of get out and then I'll just stand by one of the tanks or something?
Yeah, you should have a wander around.
The crazy thing is that there's probably like a lot of sound in
The
those
tank
tanks
was a
because of how
claustrophobic
like
place to be, and after an hour of sitting in a
it's like
confined
in a
space,
tin
the
can,
lads
so
decided
every
to
little
venture
noise would be
elsewhere.
like super loud.
Meanwhile, Neil, the museum historian, was convinced he had just witnessed something ghostly.
Right behind here, it was a figure. Just the top half of the figure. Just two arms, a male figure.
How can you tell it was male? Was it?
I know it's going to sound contrived.
Sure.
It looked like he had a battle dress jacket on. I'm not being silly.
Yeah.
Did he say he was not being silly?
Went and sat down and it was
I think
just
that's exactly
arms
what
and-
was happening as you were being
almost
silly.
like a torch went across them there. I realised that there wasn't a torch on. There's someone like you could feel it. It was colder, wasn't it?
It was.
Not like a deep cold spot, but it's him, isn't it? It's like a battle dress jacket.
Yeah.
Does it with a belt in the middle. It's got a very distinctive cut to it. Can you hear something now?
Jesus Christ, these guys. What is that?
Rick and Phil had
What,
ended
it
up
look
in
like
the
a
ambulance
Coke machine
room
or
where,
something like
according to
that.
Derek, the spirit of a Robert Nixon or Dixon liked to visit. Carl had decided, as usual, to go it alone. He'd gone back to the tank where so many people had heard disembodied shouts and cries coming from within.
There's a lot of stuff supposed to have happened in here. People have heard. There's been a lot of looking at the screen because I thought I just heard a rustling behind me. I've only just got in here. Now where are we before? I'm getting very cold. Yeah. Freezing. How you feeling?
So
did you hear that?
So they look like they're in the they're in the warehouse. Not a warehouse.
So cold here. This is before. Oh, you see it? Come where my arm is.
But it's a hangar. Like.
Oh, it's freezing.
So every time, like, this is another issue that I have with ghost hunters is that whenever they, talk about how cold it is, they need to talk about what the temperature is like outside, because this is a hangar or like a storage thing. It's got no insulation. So if it was like, 80 degrees outside or something like that, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, a little bit of that. That's good information. But if it's like cold, because England tends to be on the colder side, it's not that impressive.
Tank. Oh, ask if Bob's. What?
Sorry, imagination. It's all right there. It's here. Right where I'm standing now, I'm getting all goosebumpy again.
Did you just hear that over there?
Yeah, in that corner.
Okay.
Could you do that again?
Yeah.
If there's anybody here, can you make a sound?
It's still cold, but not as cold as it was. Did you just hear that?
Yes.
Did you just hear that?
There is a footstep behind this tank.
There's something going on here. Let's go around the back.
I imagine that place has a lot of mice.
See, it can't be anything walking behind the back.
It's also like a metal, like what you would call like corrugated metal, right? So I'd imagine anything on the outside that hits it would echo on the inside as well.
Freezing.
It's gone absolutely freezing here again. Felk, you feel that? Do you have any sort of explanation for that one?
That's an outside wall, but it doesn't explain why we just got the cold sort of feeling here. Let's make our way back to the front of the tank.
Oh my god, these guys. I know it's an outside wall and it's cold outside, but that doesn't explain why it's cold inside.
Let's do that. Wait a minute. Is that handle supposed to be down?
Should we just see?
Okay, yeah. Just touch it and see if it...
Yeah.
Just that's okay.
Yeah, that was a bit of a...
That's okay.
Pretty cool, huh?
Oh my god, these guys. Who's someone else that does that a lot? That like literally everything is a ghost or everything. Oh, Ghost Adventures, that's right. They literally have taken like the Ghost Adventures guy, like Zach looks like he took this and just
get like have the one
ramped it up with steroids.
Shiver feelings in here. I hate it in here. And there's just something about that doorway for me.
It's alright, we hate you on the video, so feelings mutual, bud.
Something then.
What did you hear? Tell me.
It sounded like this, like a carpet scrape or something.
It sounded like a click type.
It was, yes, indeed. Yeah. I heard that.
What is that noise? Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's just starting.
It's a bug.
I think I just caught a really crazy orb.
It's a bug. Jesus Christ, these guys. It looks like a moth coming right towards them. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute, was it? That wasn't it, was it? No. There you go. Come on. Ooh. This is not. That was weird. That's a bad edit, man. Bad edit.
Rick and Phil were so sure they were not alone. With all the noises they were hearing, the ambulance room was proving to be an interesting place. The rest of us didn't want to miss out, so we joined them.
Robert, we know it can be very, very, very difficult for you to really, really put your energy in to making something happen in this atmosphere. Do that? Robert? Can you do that again, please? Please try. We show you total respect.
It's that self-fulfilling thing, right? I know it's difficult, so if you don't do it, it's because it's hard to do. If you do it, then...
Yes.
Robert, if you possibly can...
If you possibly can.
Please, total respect to you. We show you love, and we are recognizing that you are here.
What was that noise?
It went, oh, do you hear it?
What was that?
It sounded like a door sliding or something.
Yes.
No, it finished too quickly.
Okay. Robert, I know you're responding to me. Come on, put that extra effort in for us, Robert. Oh, may I call you Bob? I feel people used to call you Bob. Okay.
So I'd also imagine that these family members would still be alive. So these people that he's referencing
Do you think it's worth walking
were
around
alive.
slowly?
So at least the one guy that was found not guilty of the murdering of his wife,
Robert?
He didn't say that he did murder his wife, which was nice.
What's the matter?
He said he didn't, so...
Very, very, very to the children's
That was cool,
side of
but
me.
come
Okay.
on.
Bob, I know you're close.
What the hell was that?
I know you're close, Bob. Can you feel the chill here?
It's very cold, actually.
Oh, can you feel it? Did he come over?
Oh, flipping it.
Yeah,
Flipping it.
absolutely.
It's coming through like a real cold blast of air.
Come on, mate.
It's the seam. Look, guys, be smart. There's a seam right there. It's coming from the seam from the walls.
Through here.
Yeah. Please put the effort in. Yeah. We're recognizing that you are, and we know that you are moving about.
Because I grew up as a kid on these military bases, and I can tell you that if you were in a hangar or one of the facilities that would hold the Humvees or the Deuce and a Halfs or any of that stuff, all the doors would be closed and you would have a wind coming through like the door was wide open. They're not meant to keep air out or be protection for wind. They're just there to keep rain off of the equipment, and that was literally it. So the fact that they're feeling cold air does not surprise me one bit. Most of these places, they're not heated or cooled either. So.
Yeah.
So we can just with those noises up here.
I thought that was you then.
What?
Something nudged my shoulder.
I haven't touched you.
So I know, because I just seen you just there. I was just here, looking in that tank there, and I turned around and something sort of...
Just before we all started shooting in here earlier, I was getting a GV inside the actual tank, and I could have sworn I saw somebody standing beside me.
Well, I just walked past it, and I thought, that's why I spun round and checked where you were straight away, that somebody went like that. As I walked past. I know, you were at least 3 or 4 feet away when I turned around and looked. But I've gone all goose pimply now.
Can I just check which tank you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a T-34. I know.
What do you mean that what you want?
Well, this is the tank where people have heard it sort of cooling down when it's not been running, and that's why I was just checking it when I walked past. And as I did that and put my torch down, it's like something went like that on my shoulder.
Okay, so did he say that people would hear it cooling down when it hasn't been running? I think that's what he said. So what I'm imagining is like that the ticking from the exhaust cooling or the machinery cooling or stuff like that. It's actually kind of cool. I wonder what would have caused that noise though, because it's obviously not the equipment cooling, because it's not running. But like, what would be another possibility of hearing like ticking sound of metal expanding and contracting around that area, like on the outside wall, like when the sun would heat up the metal on the outside wall because that's a metal wall, and then cooling down and contracting. Now that couldn't be it. It's obviously the tank. So
You pushed it.
it's not the outside building skin
The noises
contracting.
we heard were very distinct. It definitely sounded as if someone was moving around.
Yeah, there's another one.
We stayed in the ambulance room for a considerable amount of time.
Way
It
too
seemed
long.
odd that the noises we all heard just suddenly stopped. At 6 o'clock in the morning, when the
So I'm
going
gonna
to
say that it's the skin of the building contracting in the cold.
Hoping for something to happen in the tank.
Because it was, as during the day it was going to heat up and then it's contracting down, and that's why you're hearing the noises. And it would only happen at night too. And probably in the morning. I bet you in the morning it's creaky as well, because like as the sun comes up, you would hear the skin expanding due to the heat.
Footsteps. That is definitely footsteps.
I don't want to see that shot. Or maybe I do.
Can't go too fast. I've left my torch in there. I definitely heard footsteps.
Okay, I'll give it to him. He's at least checking it out, seeing if there's anybody around.
Oh, it's freezing.
So that's good. I will definitely give it to them that, like, he's checking the area out instead of just saying,
I definitely heard footsteps.
what is that? And then they sit there for another
This is
hour
where
wondering what that
footsteps have
freaking
been heard
noise
a lot.
was.
Walking up to this door.
So let's hear it. Yeah.
Was that open before?
And I know the Most Haunted team, they've been found to fake their evidence, so that could easily just been one of their guys walking around and then just hides away as soon as he gets out. But
This place is absolutely fantastic. I had really great expectations because
as a
of,
cool place.
the residual energy that must have been in these vehicles and around the place.
When I first walked into the office, it became very apparent
It's weird they
to
have
me
United
that
States
there was
tanks
a
there,
gentleman, a strong-willed gentleman.
British tanks.
A man of courage, strength. He's still in his office, and that man will continue to want to be there. I'd say, leave him. He's a good man. He's a good soul. He's got good memories here.
See, say what you want about Derek Acorah. That was cool. I like that a lot. You know, you're using these people already, so it's kind of like I have issues with people using the dead to further like their show and careers, even though I guess I'm watching Derek Acorah, who is deceased, so I'm guilty of it too. But at least you're giving him the story that he was a good person and that he wasn't, you know, a horrible individual. It's like, let the person rest. He's a good person. So, you know, good on them for that. I'll give them that.
What happened to me was I actually felt something push me on my left shoulder. And I just immediately turned around to see if it was a vet. She'd bumped into me by accident, but she was nowhere near me. She was about 4 or 5 feet away.
I was quite keen to go in the T-34 tank alone, but needless to say, I didn't pluck up the courage to do that again. But one day I will do something on my own.
To be honest with you, it actually felt like there was something following us around. The noises that were heard in the place, there were some voice noises heard, some footstep noises heard. All these sounds have been heard before.
This place is active, very active. Active by a negative soul and also active by a very courageous soul. And if I may add, when the two come together, there's a little bit of a battle still going on.
Looking at Derek's walk around, and in particular the point where he's apparently been possessed by Berry Savory, and he's even taken on some of the Marin.
He's a psychologist and a parapsychologist. So what the heck is a parapsychologist? Ooh, look at their editing room. That is how they used to do it. Shit.
Mannerisms, apparently, of this
Man,
person.
how times have changed.
It seems to be quite striking that he is actually, you know, maybe contacting this deceased person. But in my opinion, there's nothing there at all of any strong evidential value. So, for example, even when members of the team asked Derek to give the name of the person he's apparently been possessed by, he's not able to even give that name. So for me personally, there's nothing there at all of any strong evidential value.
I think they got rid of that guy, and I think they went with the other person that actually wasn't as... He was supposed to be a skeptic, but he was
There
still
appear to be
like
a number of very
a
unusual
believer.
experiences when the crew are in the ambulance hall. So, for example, they're hearing noises. Also, there are very unusual cold areas.
Yep.
And there's even a point where Phil feels though he's being brushed against. Now, for me, there seems to be some very possible, normal, conventional, logical explanation for these things, which for most people should be fairly apparent. For Phil's one, for example, I think it just simply is imagination running away with him.
Yeah, when you hear what you're expecting to hear, doesn't mean it's paranormal.
I'm particularly impressed with Carl's dedication and the fact that he stayed up right up until 6 in the morning, and at that stage he's even there inside the tank, which is supposed to be haunted, and he's so desperate to hear these apparently haunted footsteps, which other people have heard in this location.
Yep.
Now, one potential explanation might be that, well, because he's so desperate to hear these noises, and also it's very, very early in the morning, he's had no sleep, perhaps, again, he's just imagining things. The fact that the camera microphone appears to pick up the noises does suggest that's not the most likely explanation. But again, alas, all we're left with are some footsteps where there's no obvious source. So is it paranormal, or was it simply walking past and Carl didn't see that person there?
Yeah, so... honestly, I think the guy at the end there debunked it better than I might have. No, I did better. I obviously did better than that guy. But they switched him out, and they went with another guy that was a skeptic. And I always remember him, like, he would be like, oh, that noise, that probably has another explanation, and maybe it's this other ghost or something. He would say some, like, these really random and weird things that would come about. So I like this guy the best. It's probably why they got rid of him, is because he debunked it too well. But yeah, it was pretty much, that episode was pretty much what I was expecting. Derek Acorah saying stuff that you can't prove, and the stuff that he did was the stuff that would have been written on, it wouldn't have been a website probably at this time, but it would have been information that you could have looked up. Library books were probably, there would be whole books devoted towards what occurred at this location. Britain's in World War II, there are reams of information that you can look up. And Derek was also found that, like, he was at one location, forgot what he was trying to say, and went out and did a phone call, and people could hear him, like, asking, getting information about the location that he was at. So he's not exactly the most trustworthy person, but again, he's an entertainer. And like Yvette even said that some of the stuff they did was faking as well. You can actually see her faking a few things as well on some of the other videos, but entertaining. That's the most important thing about, like, these shows, is they're entertaining. But like, if you think about what this whole episode, what evidence did they find? There's really nothing. So a cold spot in a room that has no insulation, and noises in a area where there's going to be tons of stuff knocking on each other, or mice or whatever, what have you. So yeah, nothing really found, but a good episode. I think we'll do a few more of these most haunted. But if you guys have an idea of what we should check out tomorrow, I'm up for it. Whether it be an old ghost show, modern ghost show, something on YouTube, I don't care. I'll watch it because I love watching this stuff. But anyways, I think that's it for me. You guys have a great Monday, and we'll be doing this tomorrow as well. Same time, about 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I hope to see you then. So thanks a lot, everybody.